Good evening, everybody. Frankie Day here for Frankie Day Models. Okay, for you for this evening, I have video 3, the final reveal for my catch up and get done build of a paper model kit in a scale of 133. It's known as the F2A-2 model Brewster Buffalo. Okay, before we get to the viewing of the model, this is a paper model I had for years, and I'm glad I got it done. It came out pretty good, and it's came out just as good as plastic, I think. It took some time to build it, and it just car kits they build a lot different than opposed to plastic and other materials and such. Okay, something here bumming around. I can get more into the model itself by viewing it. Okay, I've got my famous stand here. I'll build this up so you guys can see it. You got a perfect attitude, height, and everything. You can see me and see the subject in view. Okay, this is the Brewster Buffalo, built by the Brewster Aircraft Company. The Brewster Aircraft Company itself wasn't a very reliable company. What they have done is that they didn't actually comply to agreements with how many aircraft that certain governments needed. In the first place, the United States Navy signed a contract for 150 Brewster Buffaloes, and they only received 50 of them. And the other ones went across the pond, like towards Finland, and the Finnish continuation war against the Soviets. And the Royal Canadian Air Force, they used them. In England, the English, they used them as Cleveland's. And Burma, the India, and even the Dutchies, they used them. And remarkably enough, the Finnish had great results with the Buffaloes. We were even the pilots that flew these things that would vowed they would never fly one of these things again were actually astonished and astounded that those things remarkable are good in combat as they thought they were, because these guys were experienced pilots. These things here fly very well. He had experienced pilots. But in view and the design of the aircraft when it came out in 1939, excuse me, guys, my apologies. Got during harvest time out here, and we're getting allergies again. Eyeballs starting to water. Okay, in 1939, this aircraft came up by the Brewster Aircraft Company, and the United States Navy wanted 150 such samples, but only received 50 of them. Well, during the 50 first examples, the Ranger got them, and the Saratoga got a couple. Also, the Lexington got a few of these, and they used them because they were the first mono wing aircraft that was in production at the time, and they came out pretty good on the snap. The United States Navy, they were trying to get away from the biplanes, and they found that these things were new, and they were a monoplane, and they seemed like it'd be a sporty of an airplane to fly, and they thought maybe this thing really could fight its way in harm's way. But to their horror, their surprise, they ran a lot of problems with this thing, especially with the landing gear. The landing gear of the Brewster Buffalo, it don't retract in towards the fuselage by using 39 or 29 cranks, and the wheels will lock up. These things here, this was actually the first aircraft that employed the hydraulic system. And what it was, how the landing gear would retract on the struts itself, on the struts as they go in the fuselage. There's a worm mechanism, like a drive gear, that goes up in the gearbox. And you got two little arms right there that pull these struts up. These are your inner oleos right here. These inner oleo struts, your retracting struts. It'll grab that arm and pull the landing gear inside. They had landing gear problems. Usually that was the problems that broke on it, was the retracting links on the landing gear, how they fold inside the fuselage. And what it did, they kind of more or less, I think they took it back to Brewster Aircraft Company, and they came out with another model, and they actually strengthened the retracting system, so it won't do that no more. And after that was achieved, they found out the airplane was very horribly underpowered. They had a I think a 1200 horsepower right cyclone engine, and it gained great performances, but it was still underpowered, pretty much like that of the Wildcat. Plus, they didn't have bulletproof winged gas floats. When you put in gas floats, he's what I'm talking about. Gas tanks. They didn't have the Tokyo tanks, the old self-sealing tanks. They didn't have it on these. Plus, the armor on the canopy wasn't efficient to protect the pilot case in combat. The Navy used them for a while, and by the time of the event of they scrubbed them off by the time during the Battle of Midway. The Marine Squadron in Midway were employed with these Buffaloes. The Navy didn't want them anymore, so they gave them to the Marines. This is because of problems, and Brewster Aircraft Company would not answer them and in return to fix these problems. Like they had the problems with Big Helldiver right there. Big Glenn Curtis, when he was on the spot, he was Johnny on the spot. He got stuff done on it. When the plane was something wrong with it, they complained about it. They went back to the Curtis Aircraft Company. They reviewed the situation. So, oh, here's a problem right here. By changing this, changing that, it actually it'll enhance it. Not only that, it'll give it more durability. Now I see what the problem was. I was warning, and they were questioning themselves during the design. We're aware of that, but we weren't too certain. But they got it fixed. Bruce Aircraft Company wouldn't do that. That's why they went out of business by 1946. The aircrafts they did were duds. I mean, the Barracuda, not Barracuda, but the gosh, I don't know what it is, but Bermuda or something like that. It was a dud. Good aircraft. I mean, it was good designs, but these airplanes weren't. I think a lot of the failures with the Brewster Buffaloes, the Brewster Aircraft Company, is not wartime restrictions, it's government restrictions. And the aircraft was actually was built around government restrictions, which made the design cause some problems like faulty the landing gear system, underpowered in the engine, no protection of the canopy for the pilot. These were all changed because when we went to war, everything had to be changed. They changed. They finally got it in the wartime situation, but the Buffaloes, I think about 75% of the problem, which is wrong with the Buffalo, along with the TBD Devastator, is these things were flown by inexperienced pilots. Now, I can imagine after they get all the problems fixed on an airplane like this, armor behind the pilot, landing gear strengthened real well, new more power plant, more souped up right cyclone engine, more horsepower, and when in the hands of an experienced pilot like Pappy Boyington, they could make an ace out of this thing. Because the experienced pilot would know, he get behind flying one of these days, he know the limits this airplane was designed for. And he would actually go to combat, engage, in rules of engagement within those limits of the aircraft. That's the same thing with Jamie Doolittle is when they went down there and inspected those B-26s and found out it was killing a lot of people, and he got on. He figured out, well, he knew his limits. All airplanes have limits, so you got to work around within its limits. Like I said, you get an experienced pilot to fly one of these jobs, and they can really be very successful in combat. But you don't want to get into an engagement with a zero. I mean, you got to figure another tactic, like what Joe Foss did, the old weave, the old basket weave, the weave effect. That's the only defense those Wildcats have. That same thing that these will probably go through if they try to keep them, but they fizzled out. The Navy didn't want them no more. The Marines said, hell with it, we don't want these things no more either. So actually, the most successful country that used them, that were very successfully in combat and actually initiating a lot of kills, was Finland. The Finnish Air Force, they were using them against the continuation war against the Soviets. They were knocking out those Polopokov I-116s out of the air like it was like a Marianas turkey shoot, and they're all done by buffaloes. So there's only one buffalo left in existence today, fellas. It's in a museum. I don't know what it is. I imagine it's in Europe somewhere, and it's in the Finnish markings. They call it the B-39 or something like that. They call it. And the plane was kind of chinkered up a lot because it's been wrecked, and so they preserved the wreck with left of it, and no desire to restore it to its full entirety as modeled here. This is 131. This is 133 scale. A hairline to a crack. A hairline to a crack of 132nd scale. Made entirely out of paper. I made my wheels by using a bow compass right here. I used cardboard here. I use this here. I trace it. I just kind of made a bunch of disc out of using this, and I kind of chucked up to my diddle drill right here, and sanded it down to give it the oval shape. And, everything's all just wire and paper, and prop turns. Yeah, it does. The Brewster Buffalo. These were stubby, pretty little airplane, but they were just, by the time this airplane entered service, fellas, just like the TBD Devastator. They were obsolete by the beginning of the war, because you got to think back, England was at war with Germany in 1939. And we're out there doing the Beer Polka and everything else, not doing nothing. And flying old biplanes and other things, and they finally came out with these. By the time they came out with these, the Messerschmitt and the Focke-Wulf and the Spitfire, they were going at it toe to toe. So those airplanes right there are miles and miles superior compared to this little fella right here, and the TBD Devastator torpedo bomber. So you can go back in the beautiful 1930s, the golden age of aviation. You had a lot of designers that designed planes like that, and they feel that it served quite well in the military. This plane here was just more or less as a test vehicle for better airplanes that come around the corner, which it was, but it came out at the wrong time. It came out at the time it's quite imminent that we were being war. And people with more foresight and visions knew that we would be at war. And nobody had no idea at all that we'd be at war with Japan. But people more or less had their thoughts of be over in Germany against Hitler. And so a lot of these aircraft that they built, they designed, were actually just test beds for better aircraft to come around the corner. And the Buffalo was one of them. So I imagine all the Buffaloes were probably trashed out during the war. The only one that got the only got the ones that B39. It's all banged up, but it's still, you know, it's gives you an idea how these things were. The Navy could use them. They were really annoyed by the Brewster Aircraft Company when I fixing the problems of these things. And every time they lodge a complaint, well, the landing gear's messed up. You got to do something about the landing gear. Tell me, come material landing. 3 of them came in today already. The landing gear's pulled up. We can't do that. Well, and then they said, oh yeah, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. And they eventually did. And they keep asking, where's the other 100 buffaloes, Joe? Where are they at? Oh, they're on the assembly line right now. But this guy here, he just the design. Yeah, they're beautiful airplanes, but he just the company just went down. It went down because piss poor management. The guy didn't hold up as part of the bargain of the contract, you know, and he didn't reassure that these airplanes be fixed for combat, even at wartime standards. They said, screw it. They couldn't use them anymore, so they gave them to the Marines. And the whole thing they had at the time that they knew they would do a good job was that F4F Wildcat, the little wily Wildcat. And they knew it could do the job. Okay, guys, what's on the bench right now? I got these ships going. I've been doing a little bit of everything. As you can tell, I got this finished up. So I finished up 2 models I've already got started. I got the bow fighter. It's hanging up over here. And I just now finished this up as I'm getting hung up south side with the rest of the Air Force I got behind me. Now, I got a 124 scale P-47 Thunderbolt. I don't think it's on Bill Dombrowski's P-47 Thunderbolt. And I'll be making a video of that tomorrow. So I want to get that finished up. So I want to get out all these stuff I got finished up, guys. So I get them all done because I don't want them getting bust. I want to get them all finished up and then I get back on my ships again. And I got plenty of time. I did some more work on the Sea Witch. And so Mr. Schultz down there, he's always, don't worry about it, just take your time, man. I got plenty of time for it. I know you've been busy. So I always check out. The Titanic's shaping it real well. I got it going real well. It's ready for the rigging. And that should be all done. And North Atlantic fishing trawler, I got to do is rig that up, and it's all done. So I'm getting them done back to back. So I'm finishing up all these airplanes I got started. I've got a C-54 Skymaster in there that was supposed to be my Berlin airlift group build. And so I'm going to be getting on that, get that finished up, get that hung up here too. And I got that 132nd scale H Hong Kong models P-25 J Mitchell bomber. I need to get that done. That thing's ready to be appreciated and painted. That's solid right now. I'm gonna get that thing done too. I'm gonna hang that back in my bunk room after the trailer here. And I'm still waiting on the house and everything. So right now, I think it's working on a building permit. Get the thing done. And so it'll get here, guys. Good things comes to those that wait. And the thing about it is, I hope I can live long enough to wait to get in there. So I'm healthy. I'm doing good. And I hope everybody out there is doing well, too. And say a little prayer, guys, that I don't like to speak politics and stuff like that. To me, this is not politics. This is survival of our nation in the free world. We got to get this chucklehead out of office. If we don't, we'll be working for a goddamn rice bowl, and you will not be building these. I guarantee you will not be building no models. You'll be working for a rice bowl. You'll be part of the labor machine. You don't want to go there. So I think things will start down. I think the world's got their eyes open now and know what's going on. So we'll pray to God and everything. Things will work out, which they will. Okay. That's about it. This is the conclusion of video 3, the final reveal for the, is this Model R's? No, it's Model Cockney. I thought it was Model Arts. Wrong company, Frank. But it's paper model. Came out of a magazine. Okay. Let's see if I got anything on the agenda here. Something if I left out. Oh yeah. I knew I had something back in my mind somewhere. It's like a model I had to drag out of the closet. Yeah, that Bristol Bay fishing trawler I got. That big fishing boat, regular fishing boat I have. I made a video of it out here when I was out in the pond. And I took that to the pond probably about a good month ago. And that pond was overladen with moss. And I got my boat out there in the water. All of a sudden, it stopped. Oh, shit. I said, no, what the hell? I said, oh, boy, she's hung up. And she was hung up. And the motor kept it going, but the boat wasn't doing nothing. And so I took a fishing pole, cast out and grabbed it. Fished in, I had a hunk of that much of moss hanging out of that screw from that boat, along with a fishing line. I was furious. It took me 45 minutes for me to clean it off that screw, and I finally got it off. We got it all done, all taken apart. And I said, what the hell is going on here? So the propeller screw, the propellers, you have to go through the stuffing box. There's a coupling that goes inside the motor. I didn't know that. There's a collet inside there with a fixed screw. I thought the damn thing plumb snapped on me. But I looked at it, this thing's not snapped. It came loose somehow. And I don't have the tools to fix that. So I go down to the hobby shop down there. The RC boys down there. And those guys are pretty nice fellows down there. I mean, they know me. I spend a lot of money in that place. They know that. And they kind of lay out the carpet for me. I go in there. So I walk in with that boat. God darn, Frank, what are you gonna do with that darn boat? I said, I need to get fixed. Where's Rick at? He's back there. So I went to Rick's. Rick got a problem. He goes, yeah, I think you fix my boat for me. Just take your time with it. No rush. You got stuff what you gotta do, you know. I'm just in line with everybody else. This problem says, well, as I took this thing out for a sail, I caught a bunch of moss. I guess it torqued from the motor, and the propeller was seized because of all that moss. It came loose from the motor. He goes, I'll take a look at it. I says, I'll take a look at it in a couple of days. I says, well, take your time. No big deal. I just want to get it fixed. I like to get out of the water again. So I got my boat back yesterday. He finally worked on it 2 days. So I took it there 2 days ago and he got it done. I says, how much owe you? He goes, don't worry about it. I said, what'd you do to it? He goes, that propeller shaft came loose from the collar inside the motor. He says, there's a set screw on top of that collar goes to the propeller shaft. There's a collet that fits inside there. It plugs in that collet, take a set screw, you tighten it, it tightens up that collet. I said, well, boy, I thought that thing was snapped. It's no. I told it happens. Oh, hell, I don't go to pond no more. Matter of fact, they're going to have a committee meeting. I'm going to go up there and lodge a complaint about that. So that's the people looking at your pond out there, fellas. That says, you got a lot of people that like to fish out there and enjoy that water. There's nothing but doggone leaves out there. All it does is a big meeting ground for mosquitoes and everything else out there. So they need to address that and get that thing fixed out there. So I want my old fishing pond, the old place I go at. That's Middle Run. It takes me about 15 minutes for me to drive my vehicle all the way up to that pond. Not yesterday, on Labor Day, had a beautiful day. Smoked a couple stoves, sat back there and just took my Bristol Bay back and forth, just had some fun. Okay, that's about all that's going on. All right, so tomorrow I'm going to prepare a video for my P-47 Thunderbolt. I want to get that thing done. That's nice. It's came out pretty good. And so I've got this finished already. So I'm getting them all done. And I got a lot more stuff coming, guys. So have patience with old Frankie Day. We got winter coming up around the corner, so everybody's going to be all bogged down building models. Of course. Okay, time to get out of here. We're going to hit the parts sack. I'm going to work tomorrow. It's going to be a big busy day tomorrow. And make mama happy. Take care of the little ones. Spend wisely. You go outside. Be aware of your surroundings. Take care of your little ones. Buy yourself a kit, like Stu says, the Stu models, the Stewart's models. Get kit crazy. And don't worry, guys. We'll get this country back in shape again. We'll get the whole free world back in shape again. And things will be okay. I'm going to be okay, too. We're all going to be okay. And this is going to be okay because I'm hanging it up. Okay, this is Frankie Day from Frankie Day Model signing off. We'll catch you guys on tomorrow on the 47 Thunderbolt 124 scale by JSC paper model. So stay posted to that, guys. God bless you guys. I love you, fellas. Thank you very much, guys. God bless you all.